Welcome back to the Niner Nation podcast. I'm your host, Evan Nazareth, and I'm joined by Shaun Lawrence today, a full-time UNC Charlotte student and part-time realtor. So selling real estate is something I've always viewed as kind of like a long-term thing that people do, but Shaun's been able to do that while working through his education, working at Coldwell Banker CK Select. So in order to get us started off today, Shaun, what makes you, as you're growing up from a young one, think maybe I should start selling houses for a living?
So actually, I started with that idea when I was about 10 years old, and I saw a real estate reality TV show. I thought to myself, I could do that all day. And I was like, I always knew when growing up because my mom worked the traditional 9 to 5 system. And I was like, I can't do that. It's too boring for me. I want to be able to like just jump around, hop in my car, and go somewhere. So I was like, real estate might be the best option for me to pursue. But I didn't think I'd break into it this early. I thought I was going to graduate first, then get my license. But the opportunity came to me during my high school year as I attended early college. They were like, do you want to take the class? I said, sure. Got it. Passed the first try, and now I'm here.
Yeah, no. Hop in your car at 10 years old. Not just kidding. No, I think that's fantastic that you were that motivated to think, oh, this is something I want to do one day, and obviously probably taking some steps to kind of progress through that. Because I was looking into some of your background, and I think that it's really like aligned with a lot of your interests and like organizations that you've been a part of. So you're kind of from around this area, right?
Yeah, born and raised here actually. About 10 minutes from here is where I was born at that Atrium Health Center. So I'm all around here.
Yep. So, because I saw you were part of like Model UN, and some of our other episode guests have also been part of Model UN. Talk about like kind of how that works and things along those lines.
So during my early college experience at Cabarrus Kannapolis Early College High School, since we were considered early college, we were able to do the college Model UN side of school. So I actually went against UNCC's Model UN program during my time there. I won an award against them. That's kind of like a flex on my end. But so
and now you're one of us,
stuff, literally. So it's kind of just like a callback to like me doing all this stuff, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And then I saw you were also part of like FBLA, some honor society stuff like that.
Yes, so that was also a part of my early college because I attended Future Business Leaders of America, which is the program where we travel around the world meeting different leaders. So I was able to do that. I met the governor, did different things with him, and I went to Florida actually for completely free. So it was great.
That's fantastic. Did you get to travel to a lot of different states and locations, or kind of like a few?
I was only able to do here in Florida because you were only allowed to do it your junior and senior year, and that's when I started traveling. So
yeah,
I was just like a pioneer for the program.
But yeah, that's still fantastic. We take full paid trips.
Yeah, literally.
Every day. But yeah. So yeah, kind of going into, it's currently your freshman year, and you've been able to become a real estate agent, which I think is fantastic. Do you want to tell more people more about like what the process is to become like accredited in that and how you're able to do that in your first year?
So I can tell you the full process, honestly, since I did do it. You have to take a 90-hour course, which I did my senior year of high school. It costs around like $200, $300. I was able to get it for free. And then once you take that course and you pass it, you'll have to do 2 tests, one for the state test and then a national test. And we had to get a 70 or higher on both of those to get your actual license. But you can't practice real estate until you enter a brokerage, which is where Coldwell Banker CK Select came in for me because they allowed me to join them completely free. Usually you have to pay like a initiation fee and pay like dues, but they do it completely for free for me, being a college student. So it's great.
That's really kind. Have they been able to accept college students before? As kind of like a regular thing, or kind of this is new to them?
It's completely new. They're like a mom and pop real estate agency, which is great because like the people who run it are married and they have grandkids. And I'm like, it's a family run, but they let me in. So I have a few other people who like do it with me. It's really small, but it's a good little family that we have together.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So kind of going through it, how are you able to kind of have that school life balance? Like how many hours a week do you work just doing real estate stuff?
Really, I'd say about 20 to 30 hours a week because I mainly do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's completely for school. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is when I do my real estate stuff. I'll go make some videos, do cold calling, talk to people, and do stuff like that. And then whenever I'm at an event for Charlotte, I go let people know I'm a real estate agent. So just to get my name out there.
Yeah, awesome. So kind of to give some background to that, so you're in the Buck College of Business. You're currently a finance major, right? And then your concentration's in real estate as well.
Yes.
So yeah, very much aligning with your interests. And then you've also been able to be a part of the business learning community. So how does that really work, and what building is it out of?
So the business learning community is out of Lynch, which is where I stay now. And you only do it during your freshman year. So I got the opportunity over the summer where they were like, reached out to me and they said, hey, did you like to join this? And I was like, yeah, sounds good. So originally I was supposed to stay in Wilson, so I wanted to get my own dorm. That was really the main benefit. But I went to their program and we've been able to travel all across Charlotte. We went to the Lowe's building. I think we've been in every single like uptown office for Truist, Bank of America. I've done all those separate things. So it's been a great program to do. I recommend anyone who's encouraging to go into business to like pursue that because it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, it's fantastic that you've been able to have all those business connections because Charlotte is a business hub.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was kind of similarly to you. I originally was supposed to be in Sanford Hall, and I was like, I will do
anything.
I will look at my options.
Yeah.
and I found the engineering learning community, which was Hawthorne. So I was able to go there. I think that was a fantastic experience to be able to be active with engineers, make those friendships and connections across the different disciplines, electrical, systems, computer. And be able to like work with them, civil, and be able to see how they kind of think and kind of watch them grow over the 4 years of college. And I'm sure you'll be able to have that experience as well, seeing your fellow business students who are like really active and involved as they progress through their careers. So yeah, so kind of going into that, have you been able to go to any really cool business conference events or trainings along those lines?
So I've done a few. I've done like a few for Charlotte actually, and a few for real estate. I'll tap into the real estate ones first. The real estate ones I've gone to. We went to outings out in Uptown Charlotte, talking to them about different ways to pursue your career. I met the #1 real estate agent in the United States, and he kind of gave a whole seminar about what he did, how he built his company up, and that was great. But then even for Charlotte, I went to the C-suite speakers and talked to the main business people who run in Charlotte. I met the Truist Bank people. Like I've talked to a lot of different agencies in that way as well to kind of expand my horizons in working in case I ever want to pursue something outside of real estate.
Do you know #1 in what category by any chance? Like number of sales, number of houses?
Sales in general. Like he does a lot of residential and he was the #1 in sales. Now it can often change though because like it can start because this was in 2024 so they can start then and then the next week it switches to someone else. It's like a competitive market, so it really just depends. But it was great to meet him. He was a great guy.
Fantastic.
Real nice. Didn't expect it. I thought he was gonna be more of a snob.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always kind of funny meeting people in person and just kind of seeing like the differences between meeting them online or seeing like this person's really successful and then just realizing that that everybody has human qualities at the end of the day. So that's always pretty cool. And yeah, so for you, for example, one of the things I think that's really interesting about what you do is you have a huge social media presence to be able to gather and solicit clients and stuff like that. So do you want to talk more about how like you've kind of got into that and like what made you think this was a good area for you to expand?
So I actually was the first one to kind of break into the real estate scene in my office. And I knew I wanted to do it because you see agents all the time online. You see famous people all the time. And that's kind of how they start. They get on TikTok, Instagram, just start posting random things. And I was nervous at first. Like, if you go back to, the first video I posted, I was just kind of, sitting there because, I was kind of awkward looking at the camera. But now I got more comfortable just, posting stuff and kind of pretend I'm on a FaceTime call. That way, I get a little more comfortable in front of it. It's built a little bit of clientele with me. I get people from Facebook messaging, people from TikTok who want to go see homes, and, younger people who believe they couldn't afford to buy a home. A lot of them are starting to, come to me hey, you're young. How can I do this? So it's actually built up.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Were you kind of really active on social media prior to that, or is it something kind of you had to develop over time?
Really, I didn't touch social media at all. I was scared to post. I was so worried of overthinking, oh, they're not going to like this. So it was I didn't post at all. But because of the real estate stuff, it gave me reason to post because I wanted the client. So I was I might as well try it. And I've gotten a lot better at it.
Yeah, because I had a feeling you were kind of similar to me in that sense. So for me, for example, I didn't use social media at all till 3 years ago, and I needed it kind of for a leadership role I was about to do, and I was like, oh, I need to be able to do this. So I took the time to learn right before I had to do it, and in doing so, I've got to realize kind of the impact and reach you can have with that, and how to create content and make it good. So yeah, I think it's really important. And then because of that, I recently got kind of promoted to be the Rocketry Club's social media manager, and be able to do that. So that's kind of a recent thing as well. But yeah, it's definitely a skill set, something you need to develop and practice. I think it's a pretty cool art form in a way, to be able to figure out what you can create and things along those lines. So I always find it interesting.
Same, because there's a lot of editing to go to it, and then finding the different music you gotta use. It's like it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of different check boxes, and then when you save the draft and you lose the draft, and it's like it's gonna expire in a few days.
And then you talk yourself out of posting it. It's
and you're like, is it good?
Yeah.
Is it colorful? Nah.
Like I had to break that habit of asking people like, hey, should I post this? It's just like, dude, just do it. Even if you don't think it's the best, it's like it ain't gotta be perfect.
Yeah, I think the most important part for me is authenticity. Like I think if you're doing something that's authentic, real, and something real problems like people face or real information that people need, I think ultimately that's the most important part that circumvents like anything. If you're enjoying what you're making, someone else probably will too, because they see you're being yourself and trying. So yeah, what do you think is kind of your favorite things to make, like posts, reels?
I would definitely say it's got to be TikToks. I like doing that because TikTok you can edit on the app and then it kind of expands to every single other app because they kind of copy it. They do the reels, so it's like with TikTok you could be a little more informal. I could just sit there and pretend I'm like, oh, I could be like in regular clothes. Instagram, I feel like I have to be a little more formal because like Instagram has that business standard, and I'm just like, I can't really talk how I want to talk. And then Facebook's just its own. You gotta worry about that on your own. But TikTok is just chill.
It's all different audiences, and I think what you're saying is the right thing. Like Facebook is generally like older people, and if you use it in the right messaging and way, I think it can work. But as you're saying, probably to reach the audiences you want and the people you can probably connect with the best, I feel like Instagram and TikTok are like great platforms for you to use to be able to have that creative freedom. And then maybe a little more formal on Instagram. But I can agree with that. But yeah, so kind of talking a bit more about you and like what your ambitions are. I saw that you kind of aspired to be in like residential and like commercial real estate. So do you want to kind of talk about the difference between those two sectors and kind of like where you feel like you align with that?
So I say the main difference between commercial and residential is just like homes in general, single family, like what we grow up in. And then commercial is the apartments, the offices that you stay, the warehouses, kind of stuff, that sort. And right now I'm in residential. I do want to eventually expand to commercial. Problem with commercial is that you have to be in the know to get in there. And my boss is actually helping me get into the know of like meeting people who do that type of thing. But I do want to do both in a sense. I love the emotional side of residential when I see a client light their face up because they can afford a home and they get the home that they want. But then on residential, I love the money talk. It's a back and forth like, you want this much, I want this much. How can we meet a standard and a
compromise?
Yeah, compromise.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, I got you. But yeah, no, I think that's really interesting because you probably get to have that experience of like, oh, I'm helping you buy your first house and like seeing like the joy in that. So I feel like that's pretty exciting, or at least helping someone find something that they want. Because it is a huge investment, probably one of the hugest investments you're going to have in your life. So yeah, I kind of seen your take on this before in your different reels and TikToks, but what do you think about buying versus renting versus mortgages?
So I'm definitely very big on buying because, I mean, if you've seen it, I have a whole video saying that renting is just paying someone else's mortgage. So I am very big on helping people get mortgages. A lot of people don't really pursue that because they think like, I can't afford the down payment, but North Carolina is actually one of the better states for like helping people get mortgages. And paying, they usually have a bunch of down payment assistance for people, but people don't know it, and that's what a realtor's job is. But we don't talk about it. That's kind of like I'm big on pushing that out because like I don't think anyone should be renting, to be honest, because all these homes can be bought. Only person I really support like renting wise is college students, and if you really don't want to live there, then that's cool. Then you should rent. But if you want to stay there long term, I don't see no reason for you to just buy a home because like there's options that you can afford. It's just you got to pursue it. That's kind of why I'm big on pushing that.
Yeah, and obviously everyone listening probably has different financial backgrounds and stages that they are in their life, but this is one take on that. So I think that's important to kind of be able to hear that insight. And then kind of going off of that, is there any like future things you want to do in regards to social media or your real estate thing? Like where do you want to go like goal wise?
I want to say I definitely like plan the future, starting my own firm and like expanding that. It's called SRR Realty is what I want to call it. And then social media wise, I just want to really like be big. I'm not really big on like trying to be the best, the highest influencer, or be an influencer in general. I just want to be known for like when people think of North Carolina, they think of my face because like, oh, that's the real estate guy. I can come talk to him about anything. So yeah.
Yeah,
So.
there's some pretty cool locale characters that we see on social media that we're like, that's the North Carolina traffic guy.
Yeah, like,
like,
that's how I want to be. Like,
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, like when you think of real estate, you think of North Carolina, you think, oh yeah, so I don't want to be the food guy because there's so many food people already that it's like I can't break it to that niche, but I can break it to the you want a house. That's me.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of foodies, whether it's competitive eaters or bakers, or designers. Is this cake? Is this cake?
Like they make it real hard, but that niche has already been broken into, so I don't want to fight it. But I know real estate is one of those where it's like people try, but they give up after a while because it's so hard to break into. But if I can do it, I'm gonna pursue it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's really exciting. So if someone is interested kind of in becoming a real estate agent while they're younger or just in general, what do you recommend to like be able to start that process and learning?
I think my biggest recommendation is when you start the class, you're gonna get an 1,000-page book to like really finish. Please read the book. I tell people all the time. I talk to people who have started their real estate license and they try to cheat the book. It's like, you gotta read that full thing because like that book holds the rules of like what you can do as a real estate agent, and if you break that rule, you will get fined like thousands of dollars. I've seen it happen. So like understand what's in the contents, and then once you pursue outside that rule is when you really get to experience how to be a real estate agent. But knowing the book and what the standards are is the best thing I can give you. So please read the book if you have a chance. It's actually pretty good. I've read the full thing, so it's not that bad of a read.
Yeah, interesting. And you probably can't answer this one, but one of the things I was thinking of asking you is like, what's like the biggest house you've ever sold or something like that. But to kind of not get into that because maybe you can't answer that.
I mean, I haven't sold anything yet, I will say, but the biggest house I've seen has been a $2.5 million home in Lake Norman, and like I took a tour of it and showed it off. I want to do a video of it, but it was just too big, to be honest. It didn't even fit under a minute. Like, the house is huge.
The house is probably huge. Mm-hmm. But yeah, kind of the question I was getting to with that is, what do you think are like some big kind of like ethical practices within the real estate industry kind of?
A big one right now that's kind of been kind of controversial is the being clear about what's in a home. A big thing we have is misinformation. A lot of people will tell you the wrong square footage, the wrong type of bedroom, or the wrong type of like how the house is built, and that's a huge problem because you don't want to buy something
that's not what you're being
told. And that's probably one of my biggest fears. Really, like when I go show a home, I want to make sure you understand like this is what the layout is, this is what this is, and full transparency. I feel like that's big as a real estate agent because a lot of people don't like real estate agents for that reason. They just want to check. So I want to break that stereotype, at least on my end.
That's interesting, and yeah, good because you're able to do it in your part at least. Mm-hmm. So that's good. And then, what do you think about like the Charlotte housing market right now, or just like the North Carolina in general?
I'll say in Charlotte specifically, we're definitely in a seller's market because we have so many people wanting to move here. I think on average, it's 117 people a day move to North Carolina. And then I think Charlotte, North Carolina to be exact. And it's like, I feel like people should be pursuing homes, but it is a seller side. But homes are a lot more affordable compared to like California and Los Angeles. And I feel like we kind of give that vibe of Charlotte, the mini New York, mini Los Angeles vibe because of how the city looks. So I think that if you do want to get that vibe, Charlotte's a great spot, but there's not many options for homes. That's how I see it. But if you want to go find something, I can always find something. That's my job. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking through, seeing the options, figuring out what's best, monopoly style.
Literally. That's how it is. Like all day today, really, I'm just going around like looking at homes, trying to figure out the market's going down, which I mean I know it won't, but it's a good pursuit just to kind of give people hope about getting home.
Nice. And then kind of going back to the student side, what are like some of your favorite orgs that you've kind of been able to be in like throughout your time here, or like favorite things you like about campus?
So right now I'm part of that even count as an org? I'll count it. So I'm part of the Emerging Leaders, of course, which is a program that me and Evan both do. He's my mentor, actually. So that's how we got in contact. I do that, which is just building up leaders in the community. I'm part of Building Black Students, the Commercial Real Estate Society, and I'm a part of, I did UTEP over the summer. So those are like a few programs I've done. And it's really built my connection at Charlotte. Like at first, I didn't think this school was going to be as great as it is. I kind of had my doubts, but then I realized I got to make the most of it as I can. So I've done so many different things, being in these different orgs, that it's just allowed me to explore Charlotte as a whole. So I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, one of my takes on college in general is like it's really an open canvas,
Yeah.
and there's so many opportunities no matter what school you go to, really. And each kind of has its specialty in the environment it's in.
Hmm.
So I like that we kind of have that um, business urban kind of focus of like building and like that we become an R1 and stuff like that.
Yep.
So like you're able to explore the opportunities like Truist or other places that have great forms of leadership development in industries.
Exactly.
So yeah. Do you like anything specifically in Uptown?
I think my favorite part in Uptown, now this is like my favorite restaurant. It's called the Wafflery. I tell people about it all the time. It's a brunch spot. I think it's in like 3 of my videos already. Like I eat there all the time, but it's like the best food spot in my opinion in Charlotte. Like I could eat there all day. Now the food is expensive. It's like $20 for a chicken and waffle, but it's worth that $20. Like it's great.
So you are going into the food industry.
A little bit.
You are
Like
big in the food industry.
if you see my videos,
Everything.
you're gonna see like every time you scroll. I think I have 3 exact like the day of the life one that I did the other a few weeks ago has waffle in it. I posted about the waffle, but funny enough, I don't have like a reel of the waffle. I feel like I'm gonna make one soon. But some of the spots
Becoming the very thing you swore to destroy.
literally.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, kind of going through the Bell College of Business. Is there like any set opportunities or within the Bell College or like study abroad or like things you get to do as a business student?
There is actually a lot. I haven't done it yet. I do want to study abroad, but I believe that the Belt Business College has its own sector of study abroad programs. I know they have a master in real estate where the class allows you to study abroad. So there's a few options, including like the C-suite speaker, like I mentioned earlier, where you get to go talk to these entrepreneurs and like big business people, and like you have different orgs that are built around it, and the fraternities, like the business fraternities that they have. So it's a good little bit that you can explore through within the College of Business and stuff.
Do you have any friends that you've been able to kind of see progress through it in different ways, like whether it's entrepreneurship or different styles like that? I've known of a lot of people who've been able to accomplish great things, but kind of in hearing your kind of perspective, is there anyone who's like doing something really cool right now or who's been progressing?
I would say a close person to me right now is that's a good example. I got one friend who's like a marketing. Oh, actually, I'll say this. I have a friend. His name is Brock, and like he did early college with me. But when he got here, he wasn't sure what he was gonna do like internship wise. He found an internship, and now he's actually starting to get his license. And he did that through like college, like at UNCC. And it's like even though we kind of started early, like being already considered juniors, him still having those opportunities was like great for him because I was low key worried when we got here, like, dang, are we really gonna have the chance to like get these opportunities in here? But he got that, so he kind of showed proof in the pudding that they're still possible.
Nice. Yeah. Do you have any advice for anyone who's like trying? Because obviously all of us are college students right now. Any advice for someone who's like trying to buy a house long term?
I think my biggest advice would be that I wouldn't try to get the biggest thing possible, especially if you're gonna be in college. Like I know when I get out of here and graduate, I'm gonna get like a 2 bedroom home, but I'm gonna have a home because I just feel like renting a 2 bedroom and paying over 1,800 a month, that's a mortgage. So it's like if you got to think about it like that sense, like you're always allowed to upgrade. People upgrade their homes about every 5 years, and that's what I'm gonna do for sure. So it's like having that idea of like I don't need to be in my permanent spot just yet allows you to like not spend all your money into a mortgage instead of like just kind of balancing it out. But the biggest piece of advice would be like start small and then build your way up.
Yeah, I think that's great advice because a lot of people are probably going through different motions, whether it's between undergrad to grad school or grad
Yep.
school to something else or military service between ROTC and other things. So it just kind of depends. But I think what you said is right, being able to kind of balance it and spread it out and be able to kind of grow.
Yep.
So kind of going back to kind of you, what do you want to like do within your time here? Is there any specific opportunities or orgs you want to see yourself like become a leader in or like accomplish certification wise?
To be honest, I don't really have like a set thing I want to do. I think it's just I like pursuing whatever opportunity comes to my head. Like I get opportunities all the time to be a mentor for emerging leaders, UTOP, and I haven't really decided whether I'm going to do it or not. But it's just one of those like I like the idea of having the options of like people seeing me. So I want to. I think my biggest thing I want to leave at my time at Shaun is my reputation. Like I want to be like he's like a great person to talk to, or someone that's like come and do a podcast or have a video for because like he's a great representation of what Charlotte stands for. I just kind of want to leave behind.
That's a
Just
good.
pursue that.
That's a great answer to that. And I think in general, what you said is perfect and something that I also think about school, which is that we're very opportunity dense.
Yeah.
And you have to pick and choose like
Mm-hmm.
what you want to prioritize in your life, what's going to be beneficial to you. But just being able to put yourself in spaces that create opportunities, such as organizations, challenging yourself with degrees, is just a great way to be able to have choices,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank
So yeah, congratulations as you're going along in your journey. So yeah, any other specific principles that you think are really key when it comes to marketing or realting?
I think the biggest thing you could hold as someone who's doing both a student and a realtor, time is not of the essence. I think people like the idea of like, oh, I have so much time to do everything. It's like you really don't. I learned that time management is kind of key in my world. Like I gotta make sure I line everything up, or if I miss this, it's okay to miss it, but have a schedule. It's probably the biggest thing I can like push people to have, because like I think I would not have the grades I have right now and doing what I have if it wasn't for my time management. Because it's like I used to struggle with that all through high school, and now that I've gotten here, it's been like, okay, I actually need to really understand how much time I really have, because I may have 3 hours to do this thing, and then 3 days to do this thing, but the 3 days thing takes a lot longer than 3 hours thing. So it's like I need to really prioritize what I need to do. So I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is like find your time management. Figure out what works for you and hold that to your standard, because if you don't, you're gonna end up slipping. Because it happens to me all the time. Like I'm not perfect. I'm gonna end up falling or missing an assignment. Like my first day I got here, I missed an assignment. I was gonna say my time management was terrible. I didn't even know we had it. But it's one of those like,
But you learn from it.
yeah, literally. Like you gotta learn. And then another thing is like learn from your mistakes, because people, I struggle with that. Like I struggle like when I mess up, I'm thinking that's the end all be all, and it's never really end all be all until you give up. So make sure you learn from that.
Yeah, no, that's a great take. One of the things that I always like that some of my mentors have said is fail is always stands for first attempt in learning.
Yeah.
Or that sometimes learning how not to do something is the way to learn how to do it, stuff like that, along those lines. So I think it's great that you're able to have those experiences early on and realize maybe having a calendar is a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe having an agenda is a good thing. But yeah, as you said, there's kind of multiple tactics to do that. You just got to find out what works for you. Every person's different. For the longest time, I didn't calendar anything, which is very surprising. But I started calendaring very heavily as I was going through high school and college. So
That's how I am now. Like I have a little planner in my room. It's just like I don't use it as I should, but it's just good to have around.
well, mostly for me in my case, I just remembered everything perfectly. And I mean, I still do, but I think it's just great to have a double check or a glance. But yeah, as I said, kind of depends.
Literally.
But yeah, everything's circumstantial. But yeah, so yeah, I think what we talked about is great. Is there anything you'd like people to take? What would you like people to take away most from our conversation here today?
I think the biggest takeaway, kind of like the ending, I already mentioned, like having principles. I think it's really big. Like believe in something, because like even if it's just yourself, like have those principles for yourself to set those standards. It's like so people know like who you are, and take every opportunity you can, because I guarantee those opportunities lead to something. I mean, I'm here right now in a podcast studio because I took an opportunity at Emerging Leaders, so it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. I'm a serious believer in the same thing, which is small things lead to big change, and standing by your principles and doing what's right and showing your character is what makes people recognize who you are and the greatness you have. And that's one of the things I think is really great about you. So thank you so much. And that's our time for today.
All right.
So yeah, thank you truly to Shaun for being here today. And hopefully some of our viewers who are looking at buying a house eventually consider him as the main name in real estate. Or just looking at things in general. None of this is really financial advice, so take what you will. But yeah, be sure to follow at @Niner_Times and at @the.Nazareth on Instagram for updates on episodes. Thank you for listening. If you're interested on being an episode, shoot me an email or a text, and stay tuned and go Niners.
Go Niners.